Oh, I thought I smelled something strange. And of course it's you, Richard. Did you spill pig urine on yourself or something? I can't believe you actually showed up at Thomas and my wedding like some naive idiot. Do you even understand why I sent you that invitation? And what is that suit? It's worn out and looks so cheap. Seriously, stop embarrassing yourself. Hey, are you listening? You broke and painfully honest Richard? Just go home. You're making this wedding look poor. With a twisted expression on her otherwise beautiful face, Sabrina hurled her mocking words at me. For the first time, I forgot my father's teachings and cried. Richard, as of today, I am appointing you assistant manager at our company. Applauded by my colleagues and recognized by the president, I stood there honored. After graduating from college last year, I joined the company as a fresh hire. I was allowed to participate in a major project, and it ended in great success. I don't consider myself especially capable. I just think of myself as an ordinary young man. But Kevin, my manager, who has always looked out for me and treated me kindly, once said, Richard, you've got a good heart. That's why people are drawn to you. You must have had wonderful parents. Thank you. It might sound strange to say this about myself, but I truly respect my father. I've always lived by the values he taught me as a child. Just as Kevin said, I have a father I deeply admire. My mother passed away when I was 8 years old due to her poor health, and since then, it's been just the two of us. My father was a police officer at the time, but to raise me properly, he switched to his current job that allowed more flexibility. He never said it out loud, but I could tell he really loved being a police officer. I think he didn't actually want to leave that job. Still, he chose a job that gave us more time together, so he could raise me well. I'm truly grateful to my father. He raised me with strict discipline. His teaching was simple. The most important thing in life is to be honest and never hurt others. My father's hometown is Hiroshima, and perhaps because of that, the historical figure he admired most was the famed warlord. He often said, they believed luxury was unnecessary for a warrior. He said you must always strive to better yourself. Richard, our family descended from samurai. You must live each day with patience and self-discipline, like a true samurai. My father is a modern-day samurai. That's the kind of man he is. In school, I worked hard in both academics and sports, but because I lacked any particular talent, I could only manage average results. Strangely though, despite not being good at anything, I always seemed to be surrounded by good friends. Even Mr. Smith, one of my school teachers, said during a parent-teacher meeting, Sir, Richard may not excel in studies or sports, but for some reason, people gather around him. That, I believe, is his true talent. I felt bad that I couldn't achieve better results despite trying so hard, and I apologized to my father. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm not good at studying or sports. But he smiled and said, You don't need to apologize. You have something very special and ability to attract others. That kind of charm is something everyone desires. And you have it. Be proud of that. And he tousled my hair with his big hand. Just being patted on the head by my father made me feel incredibly happy. My father was usually gentle, but there was one time he scolded me harshly. It happened when I was in 4th grade. There was a girl in my class. Her family wasn't very well off, and she always wore the same clothes. She looked somewhat shabby and had an unkempt appearance. Her name was Anna, a small and quiet girl. Kids can be cruel, and those who are different often become targets. She was bullied too. I never joined in on the bullying, but one day she picked up a pencil I had dropped. Normally, I would have said thank you and moved on. But as a 4th grade boy embarrassed to talk to a girl, I blurted out, Don't touch my stuff, you poor kid. I'll never forget the sad look on her face. Feeling guilty about what I had said, I told my father about it during dinner that evening. His face changed instantly, and he said, Richard, listen, before giving me a long and serious lecture. Listen to me, Richard. Whether someone has money or not, that is not what matters. That girl picked up your pencil for you. You should have said thank you. That's just basic decency. And the fact that you couldn't even do that, I'm ashamed of you. Even though he was angry, There was sadness in his eyes. Overwhelmed by guilt for having made not just Anna, but also my father feel sad, I began to cry. My father said, "A man shouldn't show tears easily. But I'm glad you cried because you understood how Anna and I felt. That means a lot to me, Richard. So don't cry anymore." Then he took me to Anna's house, where he bowed deeply to her and her mother. "I am truly sorry that my son said something so cruel to your daughter and hurt her." Watching my father bow made me want to cry again, but I bit my lip and bowed as well. "Anna, I'm really sorry. I'll never say something like that again. Please forgive me." Anna gave me a gentle smile and said, "It's okay. I'm not upset for giving me." From that day on, I started talking to her more. The bullying stopped, and gradually, Anna began to smile more often. I went on to finish elementary school, then moved on to middle school, high school, and eventually college. My grades were never great, but for some reason, I was always surrounded by good friends and had a joyful student life. And after graduating from college, I started working at my current company, where I've been blessed with good bosses and colleagues, and my work has gone well ever since. After receiving the company president's award, I was about to head home when Kevin said, "Richard, we're having dinner with Mr. Hawkins now. Get ready." And we headed to a restaurant by taxi. When I followed Kevin into the upscale restaurant, I saw a long table set with lavish food and expensive drinks. Waiting for us were our president, Mr. Hawkins, and his daughter, Sabrina. "Oh, glad you made it. Come on, eat." Mr. Hawkins loudly and crudely encouraged us to dig in. His daughter Sabrina was someone I had seen a few times at the office, but I had never spoken to her before. Shrinking into myself, I quietly ate my meal when Sabrina smiled and said, "Richard, I've heard the rumors. They say you're quite the rising star." She was beautiful with a sharp, fox-like face, but something about her felt sly. "No, it was all thanks to Kevin and my coworkers. Everyone helped me succeed." "You're so humble for someone so young, but a man without confidence isn't very attractive," Sabrina continued, puffing out her chest and speaking in a slightly arrogant tone. "You know my father built this company from the ground up, right? He likes people who'll claw their way to the top, even if it means stepping over others." She glanced over at Mr. Hawkins. It felt like she was enjoying watching me squirm over how I'd respond. Before I could say anything, Kevin changed the subject to rescue me. "Sabrina, that's a lovely outfit today. How many outfits do you own?" "I don't know. I never wear the same thing twice, so I have no idea." Sabrina, seemingly annoyed that the conversation had been diverted, responded in a displeased tone. Then she looked down at the moiniere on her plate and said, "This tastes awful. Call the chef, please." And when the hesitant chef came over, she complained. The chef apologized repeatedly. Mr. Hawkins watched the scene with a smug grin on his face. I felt completely out of place. My father had taught me to eat whatever was served to me, so I finished my moiniere without leaving a bite. Seeing my empty plate, Sabrina said, "Are you a cat or something, Richard? I can't believe you ate that disgusting dish so cleanly." Mr. Hawkins and Sabrina burst into laughter. Kevin and I could only manage polite smiles. The next day at work, I told Henry, one of my colleagues who joined the company with me, about what had happened. He said, "Well, she's the president's daughter, so I can't say anything bad, but yeah, that doesn't feel great." Chewing on my homemade lunch, I replied, "People have all kinds of values." "Then maybe you should take Sabrina to one of those fancy restaurants yourself next time. Think you could pull that off?" "Sure, if I can get a 3-month advance on my salary." Henry snorted and muttered, "That's just like you." One day, I was unexpectedly called into the president's office, where Mr. Hawkins dropped a bombshell. "Sabrina says she wants to date you. Be good to her, all right?" He said it as if it were the most natural thing in the world. My own feelings didn't seem to matter at all. When I visited their home, I was brought into Sabrina's room. "I'm thinking it's about time I get married. I'm 2 years older than you, but if we get together, you'll be rich," she said. It was clear she assumed I'd accept without hesitation. I didn't have a girlfriend or anyone special in my life at the time, But as I hesitated, sensing her wealthy arrogance, she said, "You don't need to put yourself down. Richard, you could become president. Just leave everything to me." And just like that, we ended up in a relationship without me ever clearly agreeing to it. Beautiful, stylish, and always dressed in luxury, she walked with absolute confidence and constantly treated me like a little brother. "Hey, Richard, stop wearing those embarrassing clothes. Don't you own anything better? Buy a car already?" "What? A used car? Are you stupid? You need something cool like a foreign import or something." My salary was far from high. Just getting by took everything I had. I had no room for luxury. One day I asked her, "Why do you always talk about money, Sabrina? I know money's important, but there are other things in life that matter too, aren't there? If you have money, you can do whatever you want." "Listen, Richard, if you keep thinking like that, someone's going to walk all over you someday," she said, looking completely exasperated. A week after hearing her views, she suddenly told me she wanted to break up. "Richard, you're just too poor looking. Whenever we go out to eat, you clean your plate like everything's the most delicious thing in the world. Are you that clueless? And your clothes. You look clean, sure, but stop wearing the same things over and over. It's embarrassing to be seen with you. Just the idea that people might think I'm dating a poor guy makes me want to die. And your watch, that cheap-looking, pitiful watch. It's so gross, I've wanted to tell you to stay away from me so many times." I stayed quiet as she spoke, but when she brought up the watch, I pushed back. "I know I look poor, and yeah, my clothes are lame, but don't make fun of this watch. This watch had been my father's, passed down to me. When a samurai's son came of age, he was given his father's sword. This watch is my sword. That watch had been a gift from my father to celebrate my first job. I couldn't forgive anyone for mocking it." When she heard that, she became even angrier and shouted, "Ugh, you stink so poor. Even the way you talk reeks of it as samurai. Give me a break. You're creepy, cheap, and dirty." She spat those words at me and walked away. That night, I went to a pub with Henry and told him Sabrina had dumped me. "Well, good for you. You can find a much better girl," Henry said with a cheerful grin. "Maybe so, but it still hurt when she called even my dad creepy," I admitted. Hearing that, Henry said sympathetically, "Man, I'm amazed you held it in. If it were me, I would have lost it." And the two of us drank the night away. It wasn't until 2 months later that I found out why Sabrina had broken up with me. Rumors spread around the office that she was getting married to the heir of a well-known corporation. The company decided to celebrate her wedding in full, and even I received an invitation. Henry commented, "Seriously, who invites their ex to their wedding?" But since it was under company orders, I didn't have much of a choice. So I decided to attend the wedding. On the day of the wedding, while we employees who had arrived early were helping with various preparations at the venue, a man I didn't recognize came up and spoke to me. "That's a nice watch. If I'm not mistaken, that's a rare model from a German brand, right?" He seemed to be a watch enthusiast, and he had a luxury watch on his own wrist. Since I didn't know much about watches, I told him the story behind mine, and he said, "A substitute for a samurai's sword, huh? That's really romantic. Your father must be a wonderful man." Being complimented on the father I deeply respect gave me a warm impression of the man. As I watched him walk away, Henry came up with a smirk and asked, "So, you didn't get into a fight?" "Why would I fight with that guy? That guy is Thomas, the man Sabrina's marrying." I was shocked to hear it. A kind, rich gentleman like that was probably just Sabrina's type, I thought aloud. Then, for some reason, Henry got irritated and said, "You're too much of a nice guy, you know that? Watching you sometimes just gets on my nerves." And he walked off to help with the preparations. I had no idea why that irritated him, but I joined in the tasks as well. During the ceremony, Sabrina was all smiles. She looked utterly satisfied, having secured a husband who was the heir to a famous company, wealthy, refined, and handsome. After the wedding, I headed to the restroom and happened to bump into Sabrina. She didn't even look at me, head held high. She passed by arrogantly. I gave a slight nod and said, "Congratulations on your wedding." wishing you happiness." Then suddenly, she widened her eyes, turned toward me, and snapped, "What? I don't need to hear that from you, you poor loser. Why are you even here? Anyone with a shred of pride wouldn't show up. Are you stupid? Disgusting." Even people standing far away turned to see what was going on. Realizing she had drawn attention, she quickly tried to cover it up. "Oh, I thought I smelled something strange. And of course it's you, Richard. Did you spill pig urine on yourself or something? I can't believe you actually showed up at Thomas and my wedding like some naive idiot. Do you even understand why I sent you that invitation? And what is that suit? It's worn out and looks so cheap. Seriously, stop embarrassing yourself. Hey, are you listening? You broke and painfully honest Richard? Just go home. You're making this wedding look poor." Sabrina hurled her mocking words at me. And that's when it hit me. I finally understood why Henry had gotten annoyed with me, and what Sabrina had meant when she said, "Do you understand why I sent you the invitation?" She had sent me the invitation as a message because having an employee dumped by the president's daughter still working at the company was inconvenient, and she wanted me to quit on my own. I had been working faithfully, following my father's teachings, and in return, I was being driven to resign. Tears welled up in my eyes. My father used to say a man should not show tears, but I couldn't stop them. Sabrina leaned in and whispered, "Ugh, gross. What are you crying for? Your poor stop making a scene. Don't humiliate me any further, got it? Just leave, you pathetic man." At that moment, I heard a voice behind me. "Poor? What are you talking about? His father's the CEO of a major corporation." I turned to see Henry standing there, mumbling those words. When Sabrina heard that, she looked puzzled for a moment but quickly snapped back. "Ugh, how pathetic trying to act rich when you're not. Embarrassing. And Henry, if you go against me too, you'll regret it." Then turned and walked away. That night, after I got home, my phone rang. It was from Sabrina. When I answered the call, she spoke in a sweet, almost pleading voice. "Sorry about today. Are you mad?" I told her in a flat and measured tone. "I'm not angry." To which she replied, "Oh, I'm so glad. You know, the truth is, I've always loved you, Richard. I wanted to marry you, but I couldn't go against my father's orders, and that's how things turned out this way. And hey, this is a secret, okay? Our company's kind of in trouble. That's why my marriage to Thomas is a political one." Then, in an even more coaxing tone, she added, "Hey, could we meet and talk when I get back from the honeymoon? If it's at that park we used to walk in, it won't draw attention. I'll be waiting there next Sunday at 1 p.m. Got it? This is a company order. If you don't show up, well, you know what that means. Bye now." She hung up, having one-sidedly decided everything. Not knowing what to do, I called Henry and explained the situation. He muttered, "Yeah, I figured." Then he added, "She grilled me after the wedding, so I told her about your family. My family is commonly known as running a major company, and my father is now its president. He gave up his beloved job as a police officer to take over the family business so he could have more time to raise me. I feel uncomfortable speaking badly about the company I work for now, but honestly, there's a world of difference between it and my family's company." Henry said, "Sabrina's husband might be from a big-name company, but when she compares him to your family's status, well, no wonder she's second-guessing. So, what's the plan? Gonna steal the bride?" He joked, grinning. I replied, "You know the answer. If I did something like that, my dad would be angry. And besides, there's no way I could do something like that." "Haha, yeah, that's true. That's exactly why everyone is drawn to you." Henry laughed and hung up the phone. On the day I was supposed to meet Sabrina, I went to the park as promised, ready to talk things through, and soon she arrived, dressed up as much as she could. "Richard, you came. I knew it, you still had feelings for me. I understand." She nodded with satisfaction. Then she said, "So, this would be an affair, right? It's kind of exciting, isn't it? But I'm going to leave my husband. He's just so poor looking. He spends money on watches, you know. Isn't that gross? But your watch now, that's cool. You got it from your dad, right? Let me meet him sometime. A substitute for a sword. That's romantic. Her sudden and shameless flip and attitude left me speechless. Just then, a luxury foreign car I didn't recognize pulled up at the park entrance. A tall, beautiful woman stepped out. She looked like she had walked straight out of a fashion magazine from head to toe. She waved at us and jogged over with a smile. Richard, what are you doing here? Catching her breath, she smiled, and I turned to her and said, Anna, this is the daughter of the company president I work for. I've mentioned her before, right? Anna? Hearing that name, Sabrina looked at her closely again, then blurted out in disbelief. Wait, isn't that Anna? The famous model? What? How do you know her? I smiled and said, Anna's my fiancée. After you dumped me, we started dating. Sabrina was too stunned to speak. Sure, she was beautiful, but they were very different. Anna looked Sabrina up and down from head to toe, then said in a monotone voice, Sabrina, you're so beautiful, just like a supermodel. Sabrina trembled and realizing she could never win against Anna, lowered her head in defeat. Anna then turned to me and said, Hey Richard, if you're free, want to go for a drive? I'll show you my driving skills. Just drive safely, okay, Anna? You only got your license recently. I said goodbye to Sabrina and got into Anna's car. Sabrina remained standing there, head down. As we drove away, I said to Anna, This kind of thing. It doesn't feel good, does it? What are you talking about? That woman looks down on people way too much. She deserved this much. Richard, you saved me from being bullied. If you hadn't been there back then, I don't know what would have happened to me. When I heard you were engaged to her, I regretted it so much. I should have told you how I felt sooner. So when I heard she dumped you so cruelly, I know it's wrong, but I was honestly happy. I thought, this is my only chance to finally tell you how I've always felt. After that incident in 4th grade, Anna and I became very close friends. Her family wasn't wealthy. She was raised by a single mother, but they seemed genuinely happy together. Since she couldn't afford to buy new clothes, she tried to sew her own by imitating what she saw. That's why her clothes looked a little odd back then. She once told me, Richard, this is called living simply and frugally. My mom taught me that. When I asked my father what that word meant, he said with a smile, It means living without luxury. I'm sure her mother is a fine person too. Richard, what do you think? Why not make Anna your wife someday? She'd be the perfect partner for a samurai. And all I could say, feeling embarrassed, was, Come on, Dad, stop it. We went to the same schools through middle school, but she entered a fashion high school to become a designer, and although we were apart, we stayed close friends. She wanted to be a designer, but in middle school, she grew quickly, and now she's active as a model. After Sabrina dumped me, Anna and I grew closer, and now we're engaged. When I told Anna that Sabrina had asked to get back together with me, it was actually Anna who came up with the idea for that little bit of revenge. She had it coming, she said. Don't let it weigh on you, Richard. This was my payback. I'm going to be the wife of a samurai, and I just avenged my husband. Anna's side profile as she smiled at me looked so refreshing and full of pride. After that, I left the company and began working for my father, training to become the next president. I still keep in touch with Henry from time to time. According to him, Sabrina divorced Thomas after just 6 months. The company's performance worsened and eventually went bankrupt. Henry returned to his hometown and took over his family's fishing business. It seems Sabrina also fell out with Mr. Hawkins. After all, her political marriage had failed to save the company, so it was only a matter of time. She left home and now works part-time to make ends meet. Henry said he once saw her in town, but the beautiful woman she once was had completely disappeared. Then, by coincidence, I ended up meeting Thomas again, this time as fellow successors of our respective companies through a business connection. He remembered me as the guy with the rare watch and never imagined I was the heir of a major corporation. We both avoided mentioning Sabrina, but we've gotten along well. He's a genuinely good person, Oh, and recently, we had a party at my house, and Thomas actually started dating one of Anna's fellow models. Anna laughed and said, "Funny how things turn out. Your father's watch must have guided everything." There are a lot of stories about swords leading samurai to fateful encounters, but for me, this watch is no different from a samurai's blade. My father still tells me, "Your honest way of living is what draws people to you. That's your gift." I don't know if it's really a gift or not. All I do is continue living by my father's teachings. Above all, live with integrity and never hurt others.